So as we've just seen, muscle contraction requires an enormous amount of ATP. ATP for muscle contraction comes from a lot of different sources, but typically it's going to be used in a given sequence. We're going to start off by using the ATP that's going to be stored in our muscle cells. Then we're going to start to break down creatine phosphate stored in the muscle cells. Then we're going to go through our anaerobic metabolic pathways and then finally our aerobic respiration. Aerobic exercise, if you've heard that term before in reference to exercise, aerobic exercise, in that case, enough oxygen is going to be delivered to the muscles to keep them going for long periods. Working on this can increase endurance and coordination, promotes development of new blood vessels, can also increase the number of your mitochondria, and it typically does not increase the size of your muscles. So great examples of aerobic exercise, things like walking, jogging, swimming. Resistance exercise, on the other hand, is going to build strength. We're typically going to see muscles increase in size when they are repeatedly made to exert more than 75% of their maximum force. Increase in muscle size will reflect increases in the diameter of existing muscle cells. So for example, weightlifting. So in the case of building up muscles through resistance, we're going to actually see the muscle fibers themselves get thicker, get larger. Typically, this is not going to be the case for aerobic exercise. Instead, what we're going to see is new blood vessel formation. We're going to see more oxygen being given to those muscle fibers. We're going to see more mitochondria being produced in those muscle fibers. But we're not going to see sort of larger thickening of those muscle fibers themselves. So here's some fun facts for you, fun muscle trivia. The smallest muscle in the body is going to be the stapes. It's going to be found in the middle ear. It's roughly the thickness of a cotton thread. Very, very, very small. The largest muscle in the body is going to be the gluteus maximus. The longest muscle, so not the largest, not the thickest, but the longest muscle, does anybody know what that is? The sartorius. Very good. It's going to be a long, narrow muscle of the thigh. It's going to pass obliquely from the front of the thigh and then go down around towards the knee. It helps rotate the legs. It's also responsible for crossing your legs, flexing your knees and hips. It wraps all the way around and down the front of your thigh. All right, the strongest muscles. Anybody have any guesses about the strongest muscles? That would be the masseter. That's what's responsible for opening and closing your teeth. Heart, the soleus, that's the underneath your gastrocnemius. It helps keep you from falling backwards when standing up. It's essential for walking and running. Helps maintain balance and posture. And then also your gluteus maximus should be one of your strongest muscles. The most flexible muscle is going to be the tongue. And the most active muscles are going to be the eye muscles. They're constantly moving. In an hour of reading, they can move up to 10,000 times. So very, very, very active muscle would be your eye muscles. All right. What I would like for you to get out of this chapter is be able to state the 4 traits that are common to all muscles, explain the functions of muscles, list the sources of ATP for muscle contraction, and describe where and how that ATP is generated. You should also be able to compare and contrast. No, you know what? We're going to switch slow and fast twitch muscle contraction for this time. If we have time later in the semester, maybe we'll come back around to it. But we're going to skip out on slow twitch and fast twitch muscles, where they're located and when they're utilized. I would like you to be able to describe the best way to build up muscle endurance and the requirement for building larger muscle mass. All right, and that's it for this chapter.